All right, so you're retired. Now what, right? Yeah, it's one of those that you think, hey, everything's exciting. You're going to retire and then you're going to just, go off into the sunset. But unfortunately, the vacations, the cruises, all these different cool things that you could be doing in retirement are great. But there's still a lot of things that you have to figure out. So let's take a look at the 4 different tips to help with you when you've retired. If we haven't met, I'm Eric with Jazz Wealth Managers, where we don't just invest dough. We also like to educate you on your dough. If you haven't, you can check us out at jazzwealth.com. We'd be happy to help you. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into this. So the first one that you've got to really figure out is going to be Medicare and Irma. This is a big one. It depends on when you retire, but that comes into play when you're 65. And actually, Irma has a 2-year look-back period. And so you've got to be very careful, because if your income was too high, let's say you retire at 64 and then you go at 65 to apply for Medicare, they're going to look back at your 64, when you were 64, at your income. Say you were making really good income, $200,000 or so. Well, you're going to end up having to pay higher Medicare premiums. Something you really have to focus on, make sure you're paying attention to. If you want to know exactly what I'm talking about with this, or if you want me to make a video going into more detail about this, leave a note in the comments below. And if you would, check right here. So this is where it's at. SSA.gov has a monthly Medicare premiums for 2023. So it's all about your income. So if you're retired and showing that you're still making a lot of money off of maybe your withdrawals from your IRA, things like that, or you're doing a lot of Roth conversions, anything else, you got to be careful, because you could be paying a lot more money when it comes to Medicare. The second one that so many people really make big mistakes on, that I see all the time, is taking Social Security at the wrong age. Sometimes people think, perfect, I'm retired, take Social Security. That's not always the best scenario, though. It all depends on your financial plan. Now, I happen to know of some people that can take care of that financial plan for you if you would like. But the thing about it is just making sure that you are figuring out what your Social Security is, and then coming up with a plan of actually when to take that. Now, to find out exactly how much you're going to be getting, or roughly how much you're going to be getting, you can get some estimates. You may already have gotten some in the mail, but you can also go to SSA.gov and it will break it down here for you. You're able to go there, check your eligibility for benefits, and see exactly how much you're going to be getting. The third one that we've got to really talk through is one that I briefly touched on just recently in another video. You may have caught it, but that's health insurance until the Medicare years. Now, if you retire at 60 or even 55 until 65, you're going to have to figure out your own health care. And if you have to figure it out, it's like, well, what do you do? Well, the new healthcare, the marketplace, whatever insurance you want to call it, Obamacare, there's all kinds of these crazy names for it. But ultimately, when you get to this, it's all going to be based on your income. And so you really need to know what your income is going to be, and you get tax credits if your income is lower, so it helps to keep your healthcare down. It's an interesting one. I would suggest, depending on where you are, maybe reaching out to somebody. Don't get sold. Not saying that everybody that does healthcare sells. Well, yeah, they do kind of sell stuff, but just make sure that you get the right person that's not going to oversell you. We're fiduciaries. We don't sell any products here. So I just always try to make sure that people are getting taken care of. But if you go over here to the health insurance, that's healthcare.gov. You can see plans and prices. You can get some estimates. You can even kind of create a little mock scenario to say, hey, I think I'm going to retire, and with withdrawals and my pension, I'm going to have $100,000 a year coming in. Then you can really figure out possibly what your healthcare costs would be. So that's a good one to check out. Another one is really just the fact that so many people make big mistakes on their tax strategy in retirement. They think, well, I'm going to pull all of my money from this account first, or that account first, or, hey, I've built all this Roth money. I want to spend it because I don't have to pay taxes on it. There's a strategy to this. Again, it does go back to a financial plan and making sure that you have this correct. But if you look here, I'm just going to show you just a quick scenario. So with this person here, Louis Armstrong, Lucille Armstrong, this is a mock scenario in our software called Nest Egg that we work with financial planning. It looks like if they do Roth conversions, they're going to have $63,000 less at the end of the plan if they convert in the 12 to 15% tax bracket. Now, I built this in to bump it up a little bit. And if you look here, 22%, they would have $500,000 less, $500,000 less. Make sure that you're looking at these kind of things. Don't just make the decision on the whim to do some conversions at different times because you think it's best. You really want to analyze this a lot. This scenario it looks like they're going to have just a little bit extra if they convert in the 10% tax bracket there. Now, another thing is the withdrawal strategy with that as well, because you want to figure out where to take money from first. Now, if I say that I'm not going to do any conversions on this scenario, but then I'm going to pull from the taxable account, tax deferred, and tax free. Well, you know what? Let's just say that instead I want to pull from the pro rata account, which basically means that I'm going to be pulling from everything. Well, if I did the pro rata account, it's actually showing more here. What this means is I'm going to show you there. Let me fix this so you can get a good grasp of what I'm talking about. We're comparing it on the opposite side. So if you just say I'm going to pull from everything, every single account, a little equally each account, you'd have $292,000 less in this scenario than if you took from taxable accounts, then tax deferred, then tax-free accounts. So it all comes down to making sure you have that strategy when it comes to those Roth conversions and also when it comes to the withdrawal strategy. So those are just 4 quick tips. If you like those, you want me to go into any detail on any of them, let me know in the comments, and I appreciate you watching.